Hey guys, we are starting a new chapter today. We're getting into chapter 14 in our textbook. I have scanned that from the textbook for you and put a link for that into Canvas, and it's at the top of my distance learning plan. So if you like to get into the actual book and look there for some information, that new link will be posted for you. Anyway, this is chapter 14, our last chapter that we're going to study this year. I cannot believe it. This year has gone so fast. I never thought in a million years that we would be finishing our year this way, but here we are doing it, and I think we're doing a pretty good job, you guys. So hang in there. We're going to get through this together. This last chapter is on the Middle Ages. Sometimes it's called the medieval period, and sometimes it's even called the Dark Ages, and it's for some really rough things that they went through, and I think we're going to be able to identify with them pretty well in this chapter. So stay with me through these lessons, and we're going to talk about some good stuff, some interesting stuff, and some kind of funny stuff this chapter. So here we go. Let's do this. Europe, of course, you guys know, is this continent right here in the lime green color. It butts up right next to, I hope you know that this red one is Asia. And then south of Europe, of course, right here in orange is Africa. All right, let's get into this. So Europe is the second smallest continent on Earth. I hope you guys remember that there's one a little bit smaller. Let me see if this will work. The smaller one, of course, is Australia, smaller than Europe. And it's broken into 4 regions. So let me stretch this up here a little bit so we can see better. So the 4 regions are the Northwest Mountains, the North European Plain, the Central Uplands, and the Alpine Mountain System. You have probably heard the Alpine Mountain System be referred to just as the Alps, which is mountains. So let's look at this map here. Hopefully you can see it all. So we've got the Northwest Highlands up here. This is the region that we call Scandinavia typically, and it also includes the United Kingdom, which is England. Okay, so we've got Sweden, Norway, Finland up here. A lot of the Northwest Highlands go through that section. Then in this kind of aqua-ish color that goes right here is the North European Plain on the northern edge of Europe, of course. And yellow is your Central Uplands. And then in this big pink oval right here, which includes Rome, where we were just talking about, and parts of Switzerland, the Alpine Mountain System. Okay, let's switch back here and get into some information about Europe. So there are 3 big rivers that go through Europe. The Volga and the Danube are 2 major rivers, but the one that we probably will talk about a little bit more as we move through the chapter is going to be the Rhine River. It's the river that runs through the big cities that have a lot of people, a big population, and we're going to hear more about people using the Rhine River versus the other 2. Not that they don't get used, it's just that that one goes through a populated area. So fishing is an important part of their economy, jobs and money, right? So a lot of people have a job that involves fishing. That's how they make their money. Let's look at this map just so we can see, why fishing would be such an important industry to them. They have a lot of coastline. They have a lot of seas that fall here on southern Europe. They have, of course, the Atlantic Ocean out here. You've got Scandinavia, which has a lot of fishing. By the way, this chapter in Scandinavia, we're going to be talking about the Vikings. So that's where they come from, is up here in Scandinavia. You've got England and Ireland, and we've got just a lot of places that are surrounded by water. So it makes a ton of sense that they have fishing as a major part of their economy, and it's a major industry for them. All right, let's talk about the weather. They are usually mild and warm. For the most part, they're sitting on the same lines of latitude as what we sit on in the United States. So when we think about the world map, and I'm going to flip over here, when we look at the lines of latitude, and that's something that we talked about at the beginning of the year, lines of latitude are the lines that go from east to west around the globe. When we think about those lines of latitude, the United States sits basically on pretty much the same lines of latitude as Europe, but there is a difference. So there is something called the jet stream. You guys have not studied it yet in science class, but you will next year, but maybe you've heard of it before. So the jet stream is basically the airflow that moves around the world, and it carries weather and precipitation and stuff like that. And it goes from west to east for us. So the jet stream comes in here it moves from the western side of the United States in whatever direction, and it carries weather patterns. When it gets to the ocean, to the Atlantic Ocean here, this jet stream is carrying wind, and it's picking up moist air that has risen up over the ocean because humidity and heat rises, right? And so this moist air gets picked up over the ocean, and then when it hits the continent of Europe, it starts to release some of that moisture. So they experience a little bit more humidity and moisture and moist precipitation than what we do. So when we're thinking about those lines of latitude and us, we should have almost identical weather. They are a bit warmer than we are simply because of that jet stream carrying in that warm ocean air. All right, so the warm oceans, they're carrying that moisture along the west coast. So when we look at the west coast of Europe in particular, they're experiencing more weather kind of like what we would see in maybe South Carolina, towards Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, states that are over there where they have a nice weather pattern. All right, so that's it. These are really short notes today. I want you guys to hop on over to Canvas. I have a few questions in there for you about the geography of Europe, and that's it. It'll be a short day for you guys today. I hope you're all doing well. If you need anything, please let me know. Email me at swolf2@district100.com. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.